Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? This is Amanda. I hope that you're well. So, where are we? Today is the 18th of February, and I'm going to be doing a video today, which is a bit different in nature. I like to shake things up a bit, you know I do. I was feeling the presence of Commander Ashtar in particular this morning. You might be able to tell by my top. I honestly can't make this stuff up. I stuck it on and I was thinking, I feel Ashtar. This is such an Ashtar top, do you not think? I think it is. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to bring his energy in, and let's just say at the outset before we get the comments, no, Commander Ashtar is not a psyop. No, he's not false light. The Galactic Federation of Light are not false light either. There's so much stuff out there at the moment. If it resonates with you, great. But, you know, I know what I'm tuning into, and it is of the highest vibration of love and light. Also, it's interesting, I've put my cross on today, which I don't normally wear, although actually it's my daughter's. She didn't want it anymore, and I thought, I'll have that. And it goes perfectly with this top, because also the Christ light is very much linked into the whole galactic light as well. There is no separation. We love to cause division as human beings, but the higher realms just all work together. Anyway, so yes, I'm going to be using a deck that's called the First Light Tarot, and it's a bit special. It was created by a lady called Dina Roseberry. I have worked with it a couple of times before. And shout out to Dina. She gave me my big break and got my Metatron deck published. So I'm always indebted to her. But yeah, this is her deck. And why I like using it is that it has question cards in it. So I have laid out about, 15 questions here. And now we're going to pull cards to answer those questions. So, as an example, I've got a card for the recent past. We'll pull a card on what that looks like. We have a card for a question in terms of let's have a look at the present. And I'm really talking about timeline here. What is the present timeline that we are on? Why is this happening? Okay, why is this happening? This particular timeline. What are the obstacles and the variables that are affecting where we are at as a species at the moment? Can you see why I think Ashtar is quite important? Because he brings in such a high vision of why humanity have chosen what they're going through right now. What strategy can we employ that is going to help us? Who may be hurt? Who may help? What are the positive surroundings? What should we do? A personal message for us. A look at the future, obviously. But also the thing I like about this deck is it has 2 wild cards. So things that we can't quite see coming. And I am picking up the energy of Uranus, the planet Uranus in particular, bringing in the unexpected. So I think we're just going to dive into this and have a bit of fun. So grab yourself a cup of coffee, if that's what you want to do. And let's shake it up a bit, shall we? Let's shake it up a bit. Right, let's start then with the recent past. Let's start with the recent past. I've got a number of different decks that I'm going to be using for this as well. But firstly, let's just bring Ashtar energy through using the Ashtar spray that we sell. What I'm feeling from the Ashtar energy today is just a really safe pair of hands. And even the way that I'm doing this reading today, it's very structured, which, as you know, is often how I don't do things. But it's as though the Ashtar energy is wanting to bring in structure to help us. And definitely just this safety. I've got a real sensation that's going down both arms in terms of we've got you. We've got you. And I believe this, I've always believed this about the galactic energy, that they are there to help us, not hinder us. They are there to help support our growth as a species. We are just one species in a huge universe that the likes of Ashtar help, and they never step in and do it for us, but they just encourage us onto the highest timeline. Let's have a look at the past energy. And let's just go for a tarot to start with. Okay, let's just have a look at a tarot energy for the past. Where have we been in the past? The Sun, the card of freedom. That's really interesting that that comes up in a past position. Now, don't worry, it doesn't mean that we're not going to be free again. It just is saying that in the past, things were freer. We have the card of the Sun, and it's to do with free-spirited nature and innocence. So from this, I'm taking the fact that Ashtar is trying to say to us, I'm hearing ignorance was bliss. Although, of course, ignorance is not conducive to soul growth. But as a species, we have been ignorant for a long, long time in terms of the wider workings of the world, the darkness that has always persisted. And it's as though we've had a false sense of freedom. We've been allowed freedom, but only on the terms that were agreed. Now, let's not make any mistake about it. Right now, many of us would like to maybe go back to the sense of freedom that we had 5 years ago. But also remember, there are many people watching this from many different countries who've never had the taste of freedom that we had even 5 years ago. So I'm going to states such as North Korea, parts of China, etc. So freedom is subjective. What is one person's freedom isn't another person's freedom. But we've definitely got it in a past position. But I'm also feeling as though ignorance was bliss. We felt free-spirited, and it was a more innocent age, because what is coming up now, and we know this, I'm not telling you anything you don't know if you're on an ascension and an awakening path. What is coming up now is that we are having to grow up and mature as a species. And it's sometimes not pretty, it's not easy. There is, I always call it the syndrome of just wanting to put the duvet over your head again. You know, let's just go back to sleep. It was easier in some respects. This is shadow talking, the shadow side of humanity. Even those that are awake would say it might have been easier sometimes to not know what we know now. Okay, and here I'm talking about the darker side of our world. The exposure of much that is coming up to be exposed and will continue. So recent past, we had the energy of the Sun and freedom. But interestingly, I also think this is linked into, it's really going back into the past in terms of almost like the energy of the Big Bang type thing. Because I noticed, I've got a diary here that I use, which is the Wee Moon Gaia Rhythms for Women diary. Anyway, a shout out, occasionally I read poetry from this, and there's a very short little poem in here which caught my eye today, just as I was about to sit down and make this video. And it's called Universe Wishes, and it completely ties into what I'm trying to express here, which is the second quality of this card in terms of go way, way back to the start when the universe was created. You know, we were all created from explosions of sorts. Okay, so the thing says, it says, infinitely comforted to learn, as the white dwarf star nears the end of its billions of years lifespan, it sends out carbon seeds on a stellar wind to create new stars, new life, humble and majestic as a dandelion seed head, lofting its progeny into a friendly meadow breeze. The vast incomprehensibility of the universe, made familiar as a child making wishes on a puff of dandelion seeds. That poem was written by Shelley Blooms in 2020, so shout out to her. Let me just read that final line. Made familiar as a child making wishes on a puff of dandelion seeds. Have that image in your head at the moment of the creator. But also we are aspects of the creator. We are the creator. We had a childlike innocence of just the dandelion blowing it, creating planets, creating stars, creating what we have now. But it feels as though it's still a beautiful universe, and it will become even more so, but we're having to face the uglier side of it. Okay. Also, it feels as though there are new stars being birthed, new systems being birthed. Now, I'm no astrophysicist, okay, so I'm not even professing to try and get my head around that. But this is what Ashtar is saying to me, that as we sit here now, there are new star systems being born of which we cannot even imagine. And he's wanting to take us back to that, the cusp of evolution, the cusp of birth into the new, because the universe constantly is rebirthing itself. And how many times have we heard this? But then we get stuck at a very human level in our density and our heaviness and our fear, and we forget how the universe is always recreating itself all of the time. So that's a positive thing. You know, we can recreate, we can renew, we can regenerate. Whatever timeline we're on now, even if it's dense and heavy and we're stuck at a particular point, we can change it, like the child with the puff, the blow of the dandelion seed. We can send out the messages and the intentions that we need and we want to see in the future. Okay, so let's have a look at the present energy then. So if the sun and freedom was in the past, hold on, there's about 5 just formed out there. Let's see what we get for the present. Now, I might pull other cards to go with this, but let's just see what we get from this deck. So present timeline. Show me the energy of the present timeline that we're currently on, please. It was interesting. I just dropped a card. And I was like, oh, I wanted that one, and it went back into the deck. So before I even look at what this is, there's an energy here about dropping the ball. And that might make more sense in a moment. It makes total sense because we've got the energy of lovers, which is the card of choice. It's the card of choice. We have a choice whether we, and sorry, that card was also poking out, so I'm going to take that one as well, which is the Hanged Man. We have a choice in terms of whether we drop the ball and we go into the highest timeline that is possible, that many of us want, that many of us are seeking, that many of us are trying to manifest in, or whether we, I don't know, we get distracted by something. We'll look at what the energy is that's trying to do that. Because I'm hearing we could drop the ball if we're not careful. Because right now, the timeline that we're on, we're literally at the cusp of choice. We are absolutely at the cusp of choice. And we're at tipping point in terms of, will enough wake up to manifest the new earth that we wish to see in the next 100 years, 200 years, okay? Because the truth is it's always going to manifest. It's just the time in which it takes. Right now, there is an opportunity for fast-tracked acceleration and growth and evolution of the human species. But are we going to drop the ball? Let's hope not. Okay. We also get the card of the Hanged Man, which is to do with transition, turning points, and decisions. Has to also be said that the Lovers card, of course, has another. There's another way that you can read this, which is it feels like a nod to love. It talks about matters of the heart. It actually says union, which makes me think of the twin flame energy. Now, I know some people poo-poo the twin flame energy and don't understand it, but for those of us that do truly understand the twin flame energy, we understand the importance of breakthrough for couples who are meant to be together, to come together, to help birth this and stabilize the new paradigm that wishes to come in. Because the twin flame energy is about unconditional love. And usually you go through the ringer before you get to any state of union. And the state of union, of course, is within yourself first, before it might manifest in terms of actually a relationship on the ground. So when I'm talking about twin flame union, I'm talking about the union within ourself as well. The complete balance of masculine and feminine is very important right now. And it's like, are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? And increasingly we're being shown examples in our worlds of very dysfunctional patriarchal energy, as well as beautiful divine masculine energy. In the same way, and increasingly, we're going to be seeing examples of dysfunctional dysfunctional feminine energy, based on the need for control, or based on the need for, what am I wanting to say? I'm getting the energy of, some women aren't going to like me saying this, but the energy of victimhood. And by that, I'm talking about the energy of, I need a man, okay? I need a man to be able to cope. I need a partner to be able to, whatever, all of that. Because ultimately, sovereignty is being able to stand on our own 2 feet, whether we're male, whether we're female. If you get the partner coming in, they're icing on the cake. They are 1 and 1 make 3, not 1 and 1 make 2, clinging on to each other. This is hard stuff. You know, most of us have got aspects of codependency and certainly victimhood within us, because it's an archetype of the human species. But right now, this Lover's card with the Hanged Man it's just asking us to pause, and it's saying, this is almost like Ashtar speaking. This is what I'm feeling. It's like this voice that is coming through me is coming from a much higher place. It's like saying, is humanity going to choose to do the work? Is it going to do it, or is it not? There's a choice. But we are having a pause. So that's the present energy. Let's just carry on, and then I think I might add more cards as we go. Why is this happening? Okay, why is this happening? I'm not even going to elaborate on what that question means. Let's just go with whatever wants to come through. So Ashtar, why is this happening? We once had freedom, or greater freedom. We once had greater innocence. We're now at a crossroads, having to decide what we want. Sorry, that's 3 cards that have just fallen out. That's too many. Just 1. Why is this happening? Justice, the card of justice. Justice has to happen. And it's based on the fact that we now have increasingly firm evidence in front of our faces as to some of the things that have been going on in our world for millennia. And there are verdicts coming in on all of this. And we're having to use our rational, analytical mind to sift through this evidence. But I'm feeling this is planetary justice, okay? So again, from Ashtar's perspective, this is planetary justice. It's as though he's looking down on Earth and humankind and saying, okay, which way are you going to choose? But you're going to be presented with more and more evidence that is in your face of the imbalance. Because it's not just about them over there that have done wrong, because they're just an aspect of us anyway. It's also the inequality in our world. You know, it is. It's the imbalance within our world. And here I'm talking poverty in particular, also inequality linked into race, sexual identity, all of it. Inequality, imbalance in our world. Ashtar is seeing this literally from a much higher perspective, looking down at the blue planet and thinking, what are they doing? You know, are they going to make the right choice? But equally, we have also got the energy of justice here, which is saying that we're going to be forced to. We're going to be forced out of this shall we, shan't we, into you're going to have to make a decision. You're going to have to make a decision. I feel like I need one more card with this. So which deck shall I go to? I'm going to go to this one, I think, which is the Gaian Tarot deck. Let me have one more card in terms of why is this happening with justice. The Nine of Fire is happening because of our awakening, very clearly. Look at the picture. It's self-explanatory. It's happening because the more that we advance and integrate the light body, you can no longer ignore what is wrong. This is what I struggle with a little bit with some parts of the spiritual community. I mean, maybe they're just not doing the work. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to trigger people, but it's just like, if you're truly doing the work and you are harmonizing and balancing your chakra system, which is your energy center, which means you are mastering your own energy, okay? You're mastering your own reactions, you're mastering your own mind, you're mastering all of the different centers, your heart, your solar plexus, your root chakra. You're coming to greater peace, okay, which is brilliant, but you're integrating more and more of this white light. It's just pouring down all of the downloads, all of the portals that we walk through, okay? It's just we're being drenched in white light. We're being drenched in upgrade energy. The more that you evolve and upgrade, you can't then remain completely blinded to what is wrong with our world. It becomes more obvious. It's the energy of, it's like when darkness gets attracted to light. You know, it's like the moth to the flame. It's the natural way of the world, which is the more light you carry, the more that you become aware of, oh my God, that isn't light. That isn't light. Not in terms of judging it, but just in terms of that's where the light now needs to go. Okay. So why is this happening? It's happening because we are evolving, and that's a really good card. The Nine of Fire, though, is punchy. You know, it's fast moving. And there's a lot of people, I'm sure, who are struggling right now because this is fast tracked now. It's fast tracked. It's like it means business. What are the obstacles in our way? What are the obstacles in our way? What are the obstacles in our way? Soul identity. What an interesting card that is to choose. Soul identity. Card number 19. Is it 9? No, sorry, card number 9. Now, card number 9, I'm just looking at the little book that we get with it, would be the Hermit card. Okay, so in a traditional tarot, it would be the Hermit card. What are our obstacles? Our obstacles are that we don't know our own identity and we don't know that we are all family, okay? So when I judge you over there and I cause separation and division, I'm not realising that you are actually part of my own family. I'm also hearing that a big block to... Hold on a minute, let me just get what I'm getting here. Soul identity is an obstacle. The Hermit is an identity. It feels quite similar to this thing about the Lovers and the Hanged Man. It's almost as though we want to stay, we want to stay in the cocoon is what I'm hearing. It's like the caterpillar that's about to turn into the butterfly, i.e. the human species. But it's as though, can we just stay in the cocoon a bit longer? Can we stay, you know, the chicken and the egg, can we stay in the egg a bit longer? It doesn't, there's this thing about not wanting to come out. I've talked so much about birth and the analogy of birth and struggling to get through the birth canal, and that's what I'm feeling here. That's the obstacle. But equally, soul identity for number 9, remember 9 is the new cycle that wants to be birthed, literally, the new cycle that wants to come in for our world. We don't know who the hell we are. We don't know what our identity is. And I think, remember, this is Ashtar that's speaking through me here in this video, because what he's saying is you don't, and I know some of you too, I'm talking generally about the wider populace, you don't realise that you're part of the galactic race. You don't realise that you're part of the universal energy. You think you are separate. You think you are just this little human, you know, down here on Earth, and you spend your 70 years plus 10 or whatever it is, and then you die, and whatever it is you believe in, you go to. And he's saying even the projection of where you think you go to a lot of the time is separation and division. If you're a good girl, you go to heaven. If you're a bad girl, you go to hell. It's this thing about there is no heaven, there is no hell. There is just oneness, okay? There is just oneness. Sure, if you've done bad in this life, then there will be karma to pay. There will also be, you will have to face what you've done in your life. You'll have to, you know, your life review will be shown to you. You will experience the pain that you've put other people through, etc. That's what hell is. It's when you actually realise that, my God, I did that. I did that to that person, but actually I did it to myself. We don't understand this at a deep level. We do not understand that we are one. And if you look at the way the world is right now, You know, we can look around and we can think, what, but I do know that. What are you going on about? I know that I'm a member of the universal tribe and all the rest of it. But then take it right down to what we've been going through in the last 2 years. We've been at war with each other because, you know, you've had this and I haven't. So that means that you are this and that makes me that. It's like we can't help ourselves. We just can't help ourselves. We seek division and separation so much of the time. So the obstacle is the lack of soul identity and the lack of understanding of soul family. Okay. Are we going to be helped with this? I'm just going to pull a card in terms of who is around to help with this. Because, I mean, this is a biggie. This is a biggie. We've got to try and get past this. But it is hard because it's very ingrained. We've had lifetime after lifetime, which has been about separation and division. And it's still playing out. So what energy is trying to help us with this understanding that we are all one? I mean, effectively, they all are. I'm shuffling from an Ascended Master deck here. But let's just see if there's anybody in particular that wants to make themselves known. It's almost like they're saying we come as a group. It's quite interesting. We come as a group. It's almost like there's not one card that wants to come through. Okay, having said that, okay, we have got somebody. Oh, interesting. Okay, she was on the bottom of the pack just now, and she's come through, Joan of Arc. I was thinking about the Joan of Arc energy only the other day. We've also got Mary Magdalene on the bottom of the deck. So this is the divine feminine energy. And in a way, Joan of Arc here stands for the voice of truth. Stand strong, stay focused on your purpose, release the fear of persecution and speak your truth. And Mary Magdalene is about the teacher awakens. But I think within these two female archetypal energies that we hold within ourselves, by the way, we all have the energy of, or the capability of being, or holding the Joan of Arc energy and the Mary Magdalene energy, whether you're male or female. In Joan, we have this spiritual warrior energy, you know, the don't mess with me energy, but equally very much God on her side. It was God who, you know, the visions and all of that happened to her. And Mary Magdalene certainly isn't a pushover either, but there's I don't know quite how to describe it. There's a slightly softer energy there. But ultimately it's all different aspects of the same theme of the feminine. So we've got the female energy that's coming in to try and help. Joan of Arc with her sword, clearing away the pathways of misunderstanding. A bit like a female Archangel Michael type figure. Helping us to see the truth, helping us to see each other's truth. Helping us to see each other's truth, because she's saying there's not just one truth. My truth might be different from your truth. It's based on my understanding of the universe. It's based on my past lives. It's based on my planetary origins, all the rest of it. You might have a different truth based on where you've come from. So it's about listening to truth. She's saying there is a difference between truth and manipulation, having said that, because, and you need to cut through that. So your voice that you wish other people to hear and vice versa needs to be based on divine truth, your divine truth, not just on something that you've been fed. If you're just repeating something you've read, for example, I don't know, in a newspaper, that's not your truth. That's just something that you're repeating and regurgitating that somebody else has told you is truth. Do you understand the difference in the nuance? I'm sure you do. But that's what Joan is saying, okay? I love that. That's what Joan is saying. That could be a t-shirt, couldn't it? You know, what would Joan do? What would Joan do? The two J's, Joan and Jesus. I love it. And Joseph. It's like, what would the J's do? Yeah. So, right. Let's try not to deviate too much. That was in terms of who's coming in to help us with obstacles. Mary Magdalene and Joan of Arc. Anything else that Mary Magdalene wishes to say? Because I do actually have a Mary Magdalene spray, so let me just use it. Beautiful colours. So Mary, we're talking about obstacles and not being able to see each other as family. Yeah, you see, because straight away she's saying that she identifies with it because she was cast out of the family. If you think those of you that know the Gospels, you know, it's like she was the 13th disciple. She was one of the disciples, yet she was never given that. She was never given the credit, for want of a better word. You know, it's like she was there, but it was like, yeah, she's there, but we don't really want to talk about her too much. And when we do talk about her, we'll just sort of say it, you know, just in whispers or write her out, really. She was absolutely part of the family. And, you know, my personal belief is probably there was a family that also she formed with Jesus as well. You don't have to believe that. It's my truth. It doesn't have to be your truth. But that's the thing. It's to do with, it feels as though she is an energy which is linked into having been cast out of the family. And she's saying, so she understands that, and she's very keen on helping to bring families back together. Families in terms of maybe your family, but equally soul family. Okay, soul family. She's showing me herself here, and this is going back to, you know, the early church, in terms of pulling the tribe together, you know, sorting out the guys, she's saying. I've never ever seen it in that light before, but she's just making me laugh because she's showing me like the bickering, she's saying, and some of the ego that existed between the male disciples, the male apostles as they became. You know, just because they're in the Bible doesn't mean that they didn't have a very human side to them. And she said sometimes they would, you know, they would fight with each other, not physically fight, but, you know, it was like who wanted to be top dog. I mean, I'm sorry, guys, but you do see this with men sometimes. And remember, we're going back 2,000 years. So even though these were enlightened men that we're talking about, they were still men of their age. They were men of their age. They'd been brought up with that particular culture. And sometimes within the male of the species, she's saying, there is often the fight to be top dog, to be the most vocal, to be the one that everyone listens to. So she's just showing me this side where, you know, she was like the balm and the peacekeeper and trying to keep them all, it's the mothering energy, basically, isn't it? It's the mother energy, it's the big sister energy, it's the peacekeeper, all of that. Love it. Okay. Joan of Arc, I don't know about Joan of Arc in terms of her family upbringing, but I'm feeling as though there's something with Joan of Arc as well. I don't know whether Kyle mentions it in his book. Let's just have a quick look. Joan of Arc. She was a medieval French peasant girl who is reported to have been visited by Archangel Michael. Oh, right, I didn't know that. Okay, so that's why I was picking up the Michael vibe. Who gave her information on how she could help Charles VII save France from the English domination. She was only a teenager when she went into battle for her country, and she won a huge victory. She was, however, later captured and burned at the stake. These days she is a supremely loving guide to all those who stand up against the odds. Yeah, you see, I feel like the Joan of Arc energy, it's probably obvious, but she's coming in also with this, the fight for freedom again, okay? But freedom in a much bigger, in a very, very large context, okay? Freedom for all. Right. So where had I got to? I'd got to that. Obstacles, yeah. Right. I would like to also pull one of this. This question is, what are the variables which are affecting the issue? Okay. What are the variables that are affecting the issue? Thought, communication. Yeah. We're all getting tied up in knots because of communication issues. This is the media. This is the internet. This is our own ability to speak our truth. You know, this is the card that's just come out after Joan of Arc, where she's talking about the voice of truth, being brave enough to express your own truth, not what you've been told, your own truth. What do you feel? Remember, truth comes from the gut, she's saying. It comes from the gut. It's like you know the truth. It's like if somebody comes in and they're a bit of a blagger, you know, and they're trying to pull the wool over your eyes. And the words are coming out and it's all sounding great and they lay out a really convincing argument as to why you need to buy something or do something. But the truth is in your gut, isn't it? You know. So truth comes from your gut, she's saying. And ultimate, yeah, she's now showing me breath, because it's linked into the breath as well. We're not communicating via our gut. If you think about the gut and the stomach, it's where we digest information, isn't it? It's where we process and integrate everything. And we're not speaking from that place where it's been properly digested and properly integrated. We are just, it's almost like information is coming in and then we're straight away just wanting to speak it as truth. We haven't digested it, it hasn't gone down. And also, to get into the gut and the stomach, it has to pass through the heart. And the heart is this gateway also of love. So is it of love? Are we passing on communication and words to each other that are actually of love, that are helpful? Or are they based on spite and hate? So I think this is a really important point in this video. I'd just like you to spend a moment to think about what I'm saying here, because it's like a practical thing that we can all do. When we next hear something, and interestingly, something's just come in here, a piece of news has just come in here. It's actually I'll tell you what it is. So it says red dangerous weather warning issued as Storm Eunice set to hit UK with 100-mile-per-hour winds. Right. I could read that and I could straight away now just pick up the phone and say, my God, have you heard? We're about to get 100-mile-per-hour winds. For God's sake, be careful. We're all doomed. We're all doomed. We're all going to die. It's like the fear energy, because the media love to do all that as well. Whereas actually, if I just take that information down, right, we've got a storm that wishes to come into the UK tomorrow on Friday. It sounds like it's going to be quite a big one. Okay, that's fine. That's what Mother Nature does. She needs to have a good clear out. Am I safe in that? Am I safe? Is it okay? Can you feel the difference? And then I communicate from that place. Okay. And I pick up the phone and I speak in a totally different tone to the piece of news that I've just heard. So, yeah, I think Joan of Arc is coming through very strongly to help us with communication and truth, and probably she needs her own video another day. Okay, right. Let's have a look at who may get hurt. Okay, who may get hurt? Slightly strange question, I know, but I think I need another card as well. Right, or maybe not. I love it. It's the card of emotion. Who may get hurt? Our emotions might get hurt. Our control of self might get hurt. What is our control of self? Our ego. Our ego might get hurt because we might have to actually start to realise on this timeline that we were wrong, or that we didn't quite get it right, or we hadn't got all of the picture, that what I thought was this actually isn't, or I got it right in part, but actually there are other nuances that I didn't understand. And we see this all the time, don't we? In life, it's certainly online and in spiritual communities. And I also think this is tied into the Mary Magdalene energy as well. She's just representing one aspect of one faith. There's many people who watch me of all sorts of different faiths. But again, if we look at the template of Mary Magdalene, it's almost like, well, what you've been told might not actually be what is the truth, okay? So whether it be institutions that have to be a bit humbled and actually allow her a proper space at the table, or whether it's us that actually has to work through the energies of what we thought she was as opposed to what she is. But equally now bring this into politics, bring this into social issues. We all have opinions. Again, it's Joan's voice. It's linked into, what is your truth? It's interesting because ego does sort of sit also within the gut, and when it's out of balance, I'm talking the solar plexus chakra, when it's out of balance, we can be strongly in ego, we can be strongly in pride, and what's the expression? Pride comes before a fall. So there's also guidance here that we need to be balancing our solar plexus chakra. And the colours that help with that are gold and yellow. And in my own range of sprays, let's just bring the spray in. We have the golden citrine. Okay, so let's just spray the golden citrine, which is the solar plexus spray. being humble enough to say sorry. Okay, being humble enough to say sorry. Now, I don't know whether, excuse me, you've been noticing this in your one-on-one relationships. I have recently. And it works both ways, actually. There have been a few people that, like, I thought were on side, or my friends or whatever, and it's like they really weren't. But equally, the other side of the coin, which is really even more interesting, is like people that I used to maybe have a bit of an issue with, or, you know, didn't dislike. I don't actually dislike anybody, but, you know, maybe just didn't see eye to eye with, didn't have it, just not really not on the same page. Suddenly it's like, yeah, I really get you. I really understand you. And it's like, it's only ego that stops you being able to say that actually, you know, yeah, I didn't quite see where you were coming from before, but now I do, and I really like that. And it's this thing about being able to be flexible. Somebody, I noticed somebody on one of my comments on some channel this morning talked about bendiness. Bendiness. I think you were talking about bendy timelines, actually. But I like that. We've all got to be a bit more bendy, you know, and a bit more supple. And, you know, the people that really can't do that, who are still stuck in, you know, what happened 3 years ago or 2 years ago, or you said this, so that means that you're that. I had it yesterday, you know, let's not even get into it. Oh yeah, we've got more and more warnings coming in on my phone, flashing in on my phone. Met Office issues rare red danger to life warning. You see, I'm not saying that there isn't maybe some problems that might come into the UK tomorrow with this storm, but it's like, be in the eye of the storm is what I'm being told by Ashtar. You know, there's a great piece of symbolism here. Can you be the peaceful eye in the storm? It might be raging all around you, whether it's weather, whether it's other people's reactions, whether it's just stuff. You know, can you be the peaceful eye in the storm? But definitely also the need to check our own ego. We all have ego, otherwise none of us would be able to get up in the morning and do anything. It serves you, but it's when it's out of balance. So remember to be humble. Humbleness is really important. And into that, I will bring one of the other J's, which is Joseph. And to me, Joseph, the father of Jesus, divine protector, just this beautiful, beautiful, humble energy, asked to be of service, did it to the absolute best of his ability, did it for he wasn't seeking praise or adoration or, you know, pat on the back the whole time. He just got on with it. And I think the Joseph template is very powerful for these days that we're in, and we can learn a lot from Joseph. And again, family, you know, like Mary said, what is this thing? One of the main blocks we've got as a species is we don't know our identity. We don't have a sense of family. Joseph, again, pretty much written out, a couple of lines in the Gospels. He was the father who helped bring up Jesus. Why is he not talked about more? You know, bring him back into the family. So I'm talking here at a very macro level, but you now bring that down into your family. Who do you need to bring back into your family? Okay. And yeah, that's a hard one because there may be very valid reasons for why you've excluded somebody from your family. But if that is the case, just try to soften. And even if it's not physically being able to be in that person's presence, energetically soften and speak higher self to higher self with them and start a communication going, start a bridge. Okay, it's really important that we do this because we are all family. I've got all my sisters with me. It's the truth. Sister Sledge, they knew what was going on. Right. Jackson 5 as well. Yeah, exactly. Did they do one about family? I think they must have done. Right. Let me have some water. So yeah, who might get hurt? We might get hurt if we stay in our ego. Let's have a look at who may help. To be honest, we've already got quite a lot of help. We've got Mary Magdalene, Joan of Arc, Joseph. Let's just see what we get though. If we pull a tarot card for that might be quite interesting. I don't know whether it's going to answer it with the tarot. We might have to use a different card, but let me just see. I'm just intrigued. If it doesn't work, we'll use a different deck. So who may help? Who may help? It's gone very, very quiet as I said that. Who may help? Right, sorry, I just needed to pause to try and to work out what to say about this. This is Spirit having a bit of a laugh, but equally, I understand completely what they're saying. Get your head round this one. Who may help us? Conspiracy. Now, let's be balanced. Some of what is out there as conspiracy theories is misinformation, and you need discernment to be able to pick through what is true. Remember Joan's words. Feel it in your gut. But who may help us? Some of what these conspiracy theorists say, and that's not, I don't like the term conspiracy theorist, by the way. Okay, this is just, I'm going with the card. And it's what a lot of us are called, who maybe question the narrative. It's all you are, you're questioning the narrative. It can help because there's truth there. There's truth there. It's there to help you. Even if you go through it, and for you, every single thing that could be classed as conspiracy, whatever it is, you go through and you think, no, but you go to your gut, okay? You don't just throw it out on first-hand, experience. It's like, no, you've got to really go into it. That's okay, because it will help you. It will help you decipher what is true and what is not true. So there's two messages here. One, the whole realm of conspiracy, because this isn't going to go away, okay? The powers that were are increasingly going to say, you are a conspiracy theorist if you question the narrative on pretty much anything. That's the truth. But it's there to serve us because, one, there's truth within some, not all, some of the conspiracy theories. And into that, I would bring disclosure itself. Don't forget that the whole UFO phenomena and, is the life out there? Let's bring Ashtar back. Some people would say, well, that's just a load of tosh. That's not real. You got your head in the clouds. What the hell's wrong with you? Of course you haven't seen a UFO. Of course you haven't been abducted. Of course you haven't, all of that. Just push that into an area which is just like, no, that's a load of nonsense. Okay. So they do it to that. They do it with politics. They do it with pretty much, lots and lots of stuff. So, but it's there to ultimately serve you. It's there to serve you because it's not going away. Increasingly, lots more people are going to be called conspiracy theorists for questioning the narrative. It already is messy and it's going to get messier. But if you could try to see that it's actually there to help you, number one, there are truths within that. But number two, it's also to do with being able to discern, to be able to sort the wheat from the chaff, okay? Because let's be perfectly honest, if you are one of these people that just take everything, it's like, give me more and more conspiracy. It's like, well, yeah, I believe that. Yeah, I totally believe that. So give me more. You're going to get charlatans that pop up all over the internet, and they're already there, who will just keep serving you misinformation, basically. But, that's all right. It's true of any sector of society. There are people that are charlatans and there are people that are tellers of truth. And you need to be discerning who are the portrayers of truth. And you're going to have to go to your gut. You're going to have to go to your gut. Does it feel right? Does it feel right? A lot of the people that reject things out of hand on first glance, they haven't gone to their gut. They haven't tried to even listen to the other side of the debate. They're stuck. They're inflexible. They don't want to hear, and they're in ego. And it doesn't matter what side of the debate you're on. If you're in ego and you're totally stuck and not open to hear other perspectives, it's dangerous. Right. Let's just pull one more card from another deck. Who may help? Let's go to this deck. This is the Magical Dimensions deck by Lightstar. So who may help? Because yes, sorry, let me just ram home the message. The card of who may help, which is conspiracy, we've actually got truths, the value of theory. Can't remember who said it. I think it could have been Socrates. It's in that pile of papers down there, ideas I have for videos that one day I'll get round to. But I remember watching a program, I think it was Socrates, and he was talking about the power of being able to... I'm going to have to pause the camera and get the piece of paper because it's actually quite an important piece. Hold on. So I've been wanting to weave this into a video for a while, actually. Me and my little bits of paper. Okay, this is what I've written down. Socrates basically said that the unexamined life is not worth living. Okay, an ultimate evil is ignorance. What was the first thing that I said to you in this video about the past and that ignorance had been bliss? But here we've got Socrates saying ultimate evil is ignorance. The unexamined life is not worth living. And he's talked about that wisdom comes from dialogue, and it was all about testing the consistency. So if we go back to some of these theories, I hope I'm not going to get shadow banned for having used the C word on my channel, but the C theories, it's too late now, isn't it? That's how bad it is, because that's how they're cracking down. You can't say certain words, you know, so what's that all about? If you actually look into what that's all about, it takes you into a whole other narrative, you know. I think most of you already know that. But if we look at these conspiracy theories, what Socrates would say is test the consistencies, have a debate with somebody, define and reformulate ideas. And basically there would be round and round of questions and answers, and it would take as long as it took, no distractions. It would be this process, and he's showing me a sieve, and it's as though any theory would just, or any argument would go through a sieve, and you know, until you had absolutely nailed what you were trying to say as truth, you would just keep going through the sieve. You know, did it have consistencies, reformulation, all of that? There's definitely something in all of that. Right, okay, there definitely is, because my nose is itching. Socrates wants to come through now, as if I didn't have enough to do. Right, let's just have a breather. I want to have a bit of coffee, and then we're going to get into what are the positive surroundings that can help us. How ironic that I'm having coffee as I sip from Prince, because he doesn't really like that. He always likes, I always remember when I was channeling Prince, he's all about the green tea, isn't he? And very much about, you know, what you put into your body, purity and all of that. But I'm sorry, Prince, I need a bit of caffeine sometimes. He's giving me a little wink, he says it's okay. At some point, guys, I am going to get back to doing the Heart Squad channelings again, which I really enjoy doing, and I know you enjoy listening to. But I am up against it with trying to just complete this Christ Consciousness deck, and it's all I can do at the moment is, you know, just concentrate on that, and then when I feel the pull to do something like this, which I find easier. It's not that I find channeling difficult, it just takes more energy. This isn't taking as much energy as if I was sitting down channeling Socrates, let's put it that way. But even Prince. Actually, one of the people that wants to come through is Whitney Houston. So yeah, she's got her story to tell. Anyway, let's get back to it. Let's get back to what we're trying to do here. Let's think about the positive surroundings. I'm not even going to define what that means. Reframe the question. Let's just see what we get. Positive surroundings. Positive surroundings. The teacher. Yeah, that makes sense. So surround yourself with people that can teach you something. See also life as your greatest teacher. The best thing that you can do is to stay as the eternal student to life at this point in time. It's probably true of most incarnations. To be mentored, to gain more wisdom, more understanding. It's interesting that the Hierophant in this deck Normally the Hierophant is called the teacher card, but here it says trainer, and I like that. I like the energy of the fact that we're all in training. We're going through mental gymnastics in trying to get our head around what is truth, okay? Is what I'm being told correct, etc.? So we're going through mental gymnastics. We're meant to be going through mental gymnastics. It's good for us to do that. It's this energy of Socrates. Don't just take everything at face value. You know, because so-and-so said it must be true. There's a plague of that at the moment. And I'm using very strong language there because I really feel it strongly. So-and-so says this, so it has to be true. You know, go back to poor old Ashtar. What's he ever done? All of a sudden, he's everybody's whipping boy in the spiritual community in some quarters. You know, because so-and-so says he's a psyop, he has to be. Go into your truth. Go into your gut. Do you really feel that? If you really have worked with him? I don't think so. But anyway, that's my truth. Yeah, wisdom comes from dialogue. It's the same message coming through again. So we have to imagine that we're in this gym. What is the gym? The gym is Earth. Right now, Earth is a gym, okay? We're being put through our paces. We're getting dumbbell after dumbbell. And we just got to keep going through it. You know, it's making us stronger. It's honing our muscles. But our muscles in terms of our brain, our heart center, our gut, you know, this is what needs to be given a workout. Are you actually listening to your gut? Are you listening to your heart? Are you communicating from your throat at a deep, truthful level? Are you breathing deeply? All of that. Okay, what should I do? Let's pull a card for what should I do. Might use another deck for this, but let's just have a card from here. What should I do? I can't believe how perfect these cards are. I mean, never ever doubt that spirit can't work through tools like this. I mean, it's just extraordinary. What should I do? You should be more diverse. Blending. Diversity. Blending. Don't be the like, I've always voted that way, so I'm always going to vote that way. It doesn't matter if they put, you know, some total whatever in there. Because I'm right, I'm going to keep voting right. Because I'm left, I'm going to keep voting left. It doesn't matter who you present for. All of that. But it's not just politics, it's everything. Diversity of thought, divergent thought. It's interesting today I've worn my little pigtails. Why have I done that? I don't know. I felt like I wanted to do it. I felt like I just wanted to change. You know, that's a very simple, silly little expression, but actually in many ways it's not, because it perked me up. It was like, oh yeah, quite like that, bit of fun. My kids said it looked all right, so I did it. You know, so we get stuck all the time in a rut. You know, on Friday I eat fish. That's a Catholic thing, according to my mother. That's my mother's words. I don't know whether Catholics do eat fish on a Friday, but if you are a Catholic and you eat fish on a Friday, come on, shake it up. Go and do something else. It's that's the energy of these times. If you only listen to classical music, why don't you try a bit of jazz? You might like it. You know, if you only read the Daily Mail, for God's sake, throw it out and go and try and find something else to read. Change is good, okay? Dip into many different pools, Ashtar is saying, okay? And see which one you like. So we've got the card of blending. Card number 7 in a traditional deck would be the Chariot card. Oh, interesting. So yes, and that's even better, isn't it? So for us to be able to charge ahead, what should I do? If you want to make quicker progress, humanity, this is what Ashtar's saying, if you want to make quicker progress and get through this timeline into better, more whatever, I don't know, get on the chariot of diversity. You know, and isn't it interesting right now? Isn't it interesting, guys? If you look at the way the world is now, this is me on my soapbox, but it's my truth. Look at the way the world is now. We don't want diversity. We want homogenisation. You know, it's like the whole cancel culture debate. You can't say that. You can only say it in this way. Me on YouTube. You can't use that word or you'll get flagged. You can't talk about that topic or you'll get taken off air. You know, those of us that have got a pair of balls, and I'd include myself in that, we just go for it anyway, because if you take me off air, I'll pop up somewhere else. It's what I truly think. Because you've got to have diversity. You have to be able to talk about different things, and you have to be grown up enough to be able to hear different people's opinions, even if they trigger you. You don't have to stay listening to it. But to be in a bubble where we're just fed one way, and into this I'm hearing history as well. The history is just what we've been taught in schools. Of course it isn't. You know, the curriculum, my daughter at the moment is still in education. So it's like the curriculum says to get your biology, you know, GCSE, you have to do these particular subjects. Biology's bigger than just those subjects. History's bigger than the subjects that are chosen to be taught in schools, you know. But we're absolutely, it's like humanity is accepting a homogenisation, and it's really creating a big roadblock to our development. Because if we want to be spiritually mature and grown up, we have to be big enough to be able to hear things we might not like. It doesn't mean you've got to stay listening to it. That's what I think anyway. Right, let's have a look at the near future, and then we'll do a few wild cards. Let's do near future. We've got two cards, near future and future. Now, this is just based on the current timeline that we're on. And this is taking into account the current blocks that we've got. Okay, that one came up. The current blocks that we've got. And look at that. As I said that, we've got the card of karma. Oh, God. Okay, well, on the bottom of the deck, the current timeline that we're on, remember you can change timelines, okay? This is probably why I've been told to do this video today. We can change timelines. Because if humanity makes the wrong choice, do you remember one of the first cards we got? After the past being about freedom and innocence, and we might have been a bit ignorant, but we were still free. We're now at the crossroads and the hanged man, and we've got a choice. Which way are we going to go? If we make the wrong choice, guys, I'm going to pull two different scenarios here. If we make the wrong choice, look at that. The devil. We reap what we sow. We reap what we sow. We stay trapped. And the card of the devil here is the card of loss of freedom. Loss of freedom. Fear, ruthfulness. I mean, let's be honest, this probably isn't a surprise. We can see the way that the world is going. In some quarters, I am always a glass half full girl, and I always will be, and I'll always look to the highest timelines, which is why I'm glad that these two cards are the cards for the near future. If we choose wrong, there's never right or wrong, it's all learning. But if humanity stays stuck with the blocks, the homogenisation, the lack of diversity, the not wanting to put the work in, the wanting to slam everything that you disagree with as a conspiracy theory, staying stuck in our ego and not wanting to learn, then this is, we just stay stuck. The devil is being stuck, it's being trapped, it's being in separation. And that would be so sad. So now let's pull another one for the future. But, I'm not going to just sweep this under the carpet. This is potential. It's a potential that's there. But equally, on the bottom of the deck, there's the card of the Fool, which is a completely different cycle is possible, where we take a journey and we progress into different pathways. And I've no idea what that's meant to be, Sputnik, whatever. But, we send, literally, it's like humanity sends something up into space. But I'm talking here about us. No, that's not a very good analogy. People are going to misunderstand what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say here is it's as though the seed of our consciousness, humanity, sends a signal up into space, and we remember what we truly are, and we become that, and then we land, Let me just pull one more card for other, more distant future. So we've got the Fool. The Wheel of Fortune. It feels as though at some point it becomes non-negotiable. I actually feel at some point humanity doesn't have a say. And what I mean by that is, remember, this is Ashtar now coming through. Earth has to ascend. And I know I'm doing this because I'm really feeling it. This is the Ashtar energy. Earth has to ascend. you are holding back the rest of the universe. You staying stuck in ego and all of what I've been saying is holding back other planets. It cannot and will not be allowed to continue forever. But there is a window here where you are being allowed the choice. And we are hoping that you make the choice for yourselves rather than having it made upon you. Because that would contravene universal law, is what he's saying. And we only step in and contravene universal law, which is when you don't have free will, when at the most extreme scenarios. And it's when it's for the greater, it's linked into the fact that we're affecting other places in our planet because everything is connected. So if Earth stays stuck and in a lower density, that ripples out into other places and we infect other places in the universe. He says you already have been infecting other places in the universe. Sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you, but it's the truth. But we've tolerated it, is what he's saying. We've tolerated it. But beyond a certain point, it's fated that the Wheel of Fortune comes in and sends humanity into a different dimensional reality. That I find quite intriguing, and I don't know whether he's going to let me go much further, because he's hoping we choose it for ourselves. I'm saying he. At the end of the day, the Ashtar energy is, remember, it's a whole command system, station. It's a federation. It's made up of all of the Ascended Master energy as well. Okay, Ashtar doesn't just work alone, you know, up there. He's also in here as well, by the way. He's particularly in our throat chakras as well, Ashtar. He speaks through our throat. But the point is, he doesn't work alone. They're all working together. All of the masters are working together to try and raise up Earth. Excuse me, guys. Just need my coffee. Because it's interesting, the one card we haven't had come out in this deck is the Tower. That's interesting, isn't it? We're being left to try and work it out. He's also saying that some of these people that are presenting alternative truths, he says, use the term alternative truths rather than conspiracy theory, you know? Those of you that are into this stuff anyway, you'd never call it that, I know, but that's the insult that gets thrown at you. It's a bit like if you have chosen not to have this, you're called an anti-vaxer. No, we're not. We're just about freedom of choice. It's an alternative position. You might not agree with it, you might not like it, but it's an alternative truth. It's my truth. Don't label me as an anti-vaxer. That's you trying to create division, etc. It's the same with this movement, you know. He's saying that there are plants within the truth, that truth movement, who are shining beacons of truth, and there's also some predatory older energy, is the way he's putting it. Okay, anything else to say on that? Attraction. He's reminding you that you manifest what you attract. So if you stay in a high vibration and you ask Spirit to lead you to the right people, to the right messages that are going to be in alignment with your truth and that are going to serve you for the highest good, you can't go wrong. The difficulty at the moment is that humanity is in it's almost like there's a childish energy of like, I'll just follow that person because everyone else is. Just because somebody else is being followed by a lot of people doesn't mean they're actually speaking any truth. he's showing me, this is only going to be a reference for people in the UK that they'll understand, but in the UK we have a place, I don't know if it's still happening, I'm sure it does, in London called Hyde Park, and there's a part of Hyde Park called Speaker's Corner. And basically Speaker's Corner, anybody can go to Speaker's Corner, and people tend to stand on a box and they just talk about anything. And some people attract a very big crowd, and other people are just talking pretty much themselves and no one's even bothering to listen. And he says, actually, sometimes the people that are hardly being listened to are the people that have got the greatest truth. And I'm sure that is the case. So it's not about numbers. It's not about followers. Humanity has this need to just want to go where everybody else is. But sometimes the crowd can be wrong, is what Ashtar is saying. He's not here going to say to you, right, here is a list of people that are, going to be helpful, and here are a list of people who are going to be charlatans, because that's the whole point. You're meant to work it out for yourself. It's about discernment. It's the biggest test, one of the biggest tests that we have to master as a species, to discern. And it's like, well, how do I do that? How do I do that? You listen to your body. Your body is, I've got Metatron here as well. He's saying it's the biggest antenna that you've got going. Your body, how your body reacts to something. Think about how this is Metatron. Think about how your body reacts to different foods that don't agree with you. You can have a really violent reaction. It can be a very immediate reaction. You can be very intolerant to things. It's the same with information. Your body knows. Your body knows. And this is the thing. Just your body might react to something in a different way to somebody else. So you have to respect other people's truths. Back to this whole circle. Right. Okay. Let me just spray the Ashtar one more time. As it sounds like a plane's about to land. Because Ashtar, people always want to know, when are you going to appear? Or, in terms of disclosure. Anything you want to say on that? Can you hear that? How funny that that's quite loud as I'm saying about disclosure. I'm just hearing the words, we're hovering. We're hovering. We have been for a long time. He's making me laugh. He says some of us have got sore arms, and it's what he means by that is, he's putting it into language that I can understand, guys, okay? So he's showing me a gear stick. A gear stick in a car, and you've got to have it in a certain position to, I don't know, park or reverse or whatever. It's like the hand's been in that position for a long time. We're hovering. We're waiting for humanity to be at a level where they can even be open to seeing us. And again, he's saying here that there's a part of the spiritual community and the truth community that even if we appeared tomorrow, they'd call us out as a psyop. It's the truth, guys. We have to own that this stuff is happening, and again, the people that would be calling out, say a UFO right now appears outside my window and I rush to tell you all about it. I record live footage of it. Other people in my street have seen it. I just want to light some incense, okay? It would still, I guarantee there would still be people straight away that would discredit it, that would say that it's bunkum, that actually it was a low-flying whatever, I don't know. It's like, we have to be ready to hear the truth and not, it's almost like he's saying some of the people that need to be standing up for us would be the first to discredit us. And he's saying it would be because they have a set way, ego, of how they think it should be, how it should happen, how it should look, what we should be trying to do. This is the other thing. He's saying humanity has this expectation, which is all about control, of what they want us to do. He's saying it doesn't work like that. We aren't told by humanity what to do. We come in to help and support you. But we're not going to be told what to do. We are in a bit of a mess, aren't we? We're in a bit of a pickle as a species, and we have been for a while. But it's interesting. I've just picked this card up, bottom of the deck. Just about to shuffle it, but I'm not going to now. It's a Magical Dimensions deck again, because this is the card of emotional freedom, and maybe this is these last two cards, three cards, are where I'm meant to leave this reading, because we've got the card of emotional freedom, the heart portal, and the crown portal. Okay, so yes, humanity is in a bit of a muddle, a fix. We've tied ourselves up in knots. We've created so much division between ourselves and within ourselves, including our own multidimensional aspects of ourself that we're at war with. It's like we wouldn't know truth sometimes if it hit us across the face, including the UFO outside the window. So what do we need to work on? We need to work on our heart chakra and our crown portal. The crown portal is where we open up to the energy of unity and divinity, okay? And we let go of the energy of separation. We let go of the energy of separation. It's the violet energy as well. So bringing down the violet flame, working with the violet ray, Archangel Zadkiel, is going to help. We need to clear the crown portals. We also need to clear the crown portals, the planetary crown portal as well. And I don't know what other people have said about where that is. And to be honest, it sounds a bit arrogant. I'm not meaning to be arrogant, but it's not like I don't really want to know where other people, I'm not actually even going to look up what other people have said, because I'm being shown, I always get this wrong, the Arctic. I got it wrong last time. I said the top was the Antarctic. I'm being shown the Arctic. That makes sense to me, that the crown is the Arctic, okay? It's the top of the world. So watch for energy at the Arctic, and there is light pouring into the Arctic. There is a portal there that is being cleansed in readiness for us all to get it, basically. But there is some stuck energy there as well. And I know we've got some melting ice caps and stuff going on there as well, but I feel like it's sort of linked into the release of energy that is needed. And I know I'm saying that because on the other hand, you think, well, hold on, if the ice caps are melting, that's bad for everybody. But I don't know, I'm just wanting to say that as well, that there's something to do with it being released, what is within the ice in terms of energy, which has been there for millennia, that we need now. And I'm then seeing a refreezing. So it's interesting. It's almost as though it starts to thaw, which is what's already happening. But it's to do with the release of this energy that then needs to flow through all the waters of the world, because every bit of water is connected to everything else. But then there's like a refreezing. So it's almost as though humankind just thinks, because it's starting to thaw, oh my God, that's it, it's over. But no, I'm then seeing it then, when whatever has been released is released, it's as though it then starts to freeze again, because it needs to remain frozen for whatever reason. But anyway, he says you're getting decades into the future there. So yes, we won't go there. So we need to be clearing our own crown chakra. We need to be staying in our heart as much as we can. And it's all about the white light. This card that came up at the start, the white light. As much as you can do, chakra maintenance, clearing your chakras, working with white light, working with the colours, working with the vibration of Om, reflecting, meditating, prayer, presence, okay, diversity, all of the things we've talked about in this video. It helps to accelerate us out of a dead end, which is where our stuckness will take us, into a complete and utter dead end, and into this, which is going to happen at some point. It's just the question is when. Do we do it ourselves, or do the Federation and Ashtar and all the Ascended Masters step in and do it for us? And that will be a failure on the part of humanity. From my perspective, that's what I feel. Because we should be able to do this ourselves. And another way that we aspire to be able to achieve this is via these three keywords here about vulnerability, flowing and rebalancing, okay? We have to be vulnerable, okay? Vulnerable in terms of opening up to different things, different people, different thoughts. We have to flow. We can't be stuck. And it's a constant state of rebalancing, you know. And again, take it down to the very everyday, being triggered, being angered, being frustrated, being disappointed, and then back into balance, okay? And then back into balance, all of the time, just trying to bring yourself back into balance. And again, don't overcomplicate that. How do I do that? Again, I've said it, it's what I've been saying. It's prayer, it's reflection, it's meditation, it's healing, it's practicing the qualities of the masters. Okay, let's pull a master card here. You know, there's probably no coincidence that I'm writing the Christ Consciousness deck at this time. It's to do with following the template, forgiving, having compassion, holding the energy of grace, loving your neighbour as yourself. You don't have to be a Christian. It's not about being a Christian. It's about holding the energy of the ascended masters, this one being Christ. What did he teach? Did he teach us to share, or did he teach us to hoard? Did he teach us to hate, or did he teach us to love? Did he teach us to be there for each other, or to run in the opposite direction? Did he teach us to dominate and control, or did he teach us to flow and, you know, share? Right, what am I doing here? Just felt like there was one more card to pull. Actually, I'm not going to pull another one of that. I'm going to pull a card from the Metatron deck. Why on earth not? Anything else to say, Metatron? Let's wrap this up now. It's been an amazing reading. Thank you so much, Ashtar. I've really enjoyed doing this. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. Thank you also, Metatron, for being in the wings like you always are. Thank you to all the guides. Music coming in. You hear the music? Okay, the two cards from Metatron, and also we've got this one on the bottom of the deck, the wake up call. Not surprised to see that. But look, wake up to joy, wake up to happiness, wake up to the new dawn. Welcome back to joy. How do we do all this stuff? How do we get out of all these problems? We aspire to be happy. We aspire to the energy of joy. We bring ourselves back into that. And you do it via very, very simple ways. By noticing the music that just started to come in my window, by noticing the sunshine, by noticing the beautiful bees and the birds and the flowers and the trees. Don't take any of it for granted. Okay, what they are, Metatron is saying, are keys that help you unlock the door to the new dawn. Because the devil energy doesn't notice any of that. Do you think the devil goes around and thinks, oh, what a beautiful flower, what a beautiful tree, what a lovely day this is? You know, how lovely is that piece of music? Oh, I love that person smiling. Of course not. I'm not talking about the devil as a person, I'm talking about the devil energy. The devil energy is about, no, let's just stay trapped. Stay trapped and, you know, just shackled. In the Christ deck that we're doing, I wrote the cards for the devil yesterday, and I've called it Tethered Tide. I can't remember what I've called it actually. Tethered Tide, Break Free. Tethered Tide, Caged, Break Free. That's right. I'm not going to read you the words now, but I will just show you the picture if I've got it to hand. Yeah, here it is. This is just a photocopy. It's not very... My printer was running out of ink, so that's not actually the colours it's going to be. It's actually all the browns. But you get the gist. The sun's shining in the window. This person can't see any of it because he's shackled to this lower energy. The key's right beside him. He's shackled. He's chained. He's not aware of anything. He's not aware of any of the joy. So the more that we notice and we acknowledge and we give gratitude and thanks to everything that is good in our world, the more that it helps to free us. You know? So, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I hope that you enjoyed today's little look and got something from it. I'll put the decks that I've used in the description box below. And the sprays that I've used, I will just clarify, were Commander Ashtars, who comes in on the Platinum Ray Galactic Federation. We also used the Golden Citrine Solar Plexus spray, helping to balance our ego and will with our, you know, stepping into our wisdom and our power and our divinity. And we also used the Mary Magdalene Divine Feminine spray. And I also used the Joseph spray, didn't I? Joseph. Yeah, beloved Joseph, Father of Jesus, divine protector. And actually, I think he might be a nice, I know I can't, I don't want to end the video, but I just want to bring Joseph in finally because it feels like he grounds it all. Very grounded. Brings in the energy of wood and the tree and the trunk and the roots. And the rotten fruit will fall, is what he's saying. The rotten fruit needs to fall. And he's saying, allow the rotten fruit to be absorbed into Mother Earth. What he's saying, he says, don't pick up the rotten fruit and then try and eat from it. He's just showing me the energy of the earth absorbing the rotten fruit because it's part of her job and she willingly is there to help us. So the other big helper that we have is Mother Earth, who transmutes so much of our negativity and toxicity day in, day out, and we don't appreciate it a lot of the time. But he's just shown me her doing that for us as well, because ultimately she wants to ascend. She wants to ascend. We've been talking all the way through this about, you know, our timeline and what we want and our struggles and our blocks and who's going to help us. But the planet upon which we have this experience, Mother Earth, is, you know, I'm just awestruck actually when I actually stop to think about it. She's giving us the opportunity to even do this, to have this experience, to have this timeline shift. So she wishes to help also. And it's not going to hurt her by absorbing the toxicity because she's a master transmuter, is what I'm hearing. She's able to constantly rebirth herself and realign and rebalance. And that's why when you go out into nature, you feel better, you feel more balanced, because she's a teacher and she's showing you how to do it. Thank you, Mother Earth. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Much love. If you like the video, please like and share it. It helps to get the word out. I think this was quite an important video. Much love. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye for now. Bye.